Hi, Nadia Zhiksimbayeva here from Chief Reinvention Officer, a community where we help each other reinvent ourselves, reinvent our companies, and reinvent the world we live in. Today we go straight to the heart of the matter, which is why am I obsessing about reinvention and why am I forcing you to watch videos about reinvention? What is this thing, reinvention, and why do we need to talk about it today? So here it is, and it has all to do with speed of change. What do I mean? Every single company, every person, every product, every community, every system goes through a life cycle. And the life cycle, you've seen this around many times as a kind of traditional curve. We are born, we grow up, we get to the level of high performance, and if nothing changes, we go down. And we know very well that reinvention has been around, and we have not introduced reinvention as a new idea. Reinvention has been around for many, many years because we know what needs to be done so that we don't go down the slope. In human life, we don't have that option. We do lose some of our capacities as we grow older. But in business, it is not necessary. All we need to do is to start a new cycle before it's too late. So as we go down in performance, in sales, if our product is not as popular anymore, what we need to do is we need to start a new cycle and a new cycle indefinitely. And the good news, we know that the best companies who do this very well and the best professionals who do this very well are able to reinvent themselves again and again and again. They know the secret. The secret is you have to reinvent before you reach the top. When you still have your juices flowing, when you still have your resources, when you still have budgets, when you personally have enough energy. And statistics are pretty painful. Research shows that if you start reinventing on the slope down, when your performance is already declining, the chances of you ever reaching back to the top level of your historical performance is only 10%. That's it, 10%. 90% of companies, 90% of individuals who start reinvention on the decline are actually not able to reach back to the top. Now, why reinvention? If we've known this for years, if this data, this research, this secret has been around for years, why am I obsessing and why I'm inviting you to obsess about reinvention now? Here is the data. And when I discovered that, I was searching for a way to help companies survive in the middle of the storm. And I couldn't figure out why are they not paying attention. What is that is preventing them from reinventing themselves? And this is what I discovered. In the 20th century and the 18th century, the average cycle from the beginning to the end, from the birth of the company to the death of the company, either through bankruptcy or through acquisition, from the birth of the product to the death of the product, when we discontinue the product, from the beginning of career to the end of career, the average cycle of a business model was around 75 years. That meant that we had about 37 and a half years to the top and 37 and a half years to the bottom. That also meant that I could graduate from college, enter your business, work in your business my entire life, retire from your business, and never see one single major change. Now, what happened as the human life and human economy developed? Around late 1980s, early 1990s, we start to see significant shrinkage of the cycle. It was technological boom. It was the collapse of the Berlin Wall, the socialist countries, the opening of China. It was the dot-com revelation, the globalization. All of those things made a difference, and we went from 75 to the average of about 15 years. So instead of having nearly 40 years until the time we have to reinvent, we now had only about 7.5 years to the top reinvention, and that's not even all. Now, in the 21st century, that cycle shrunk even more. And today, no matter what industry or whatever country you come from, the average life cycle of a business model is around 7 years. Some industries it's shorter. Let's say telecommunication industry today, the life cycle is somewhere around 12 months. If you don't reinvent yourself every 12 months, you will be out. And Nokia is a big poster child for that kind of tragedy. In some industries, mining, production, some forms of very stable economies, the cycle is about 10 years, but that is all, 10 years. That means you need to reinvent yourself every 3 to 5 years on average, and that's a speed that we're simply not prepared for. Our education was built to prepare us for long, predictable cycles. Our systems in business are all about long, predictable cycles. Think about our budgeting system. Our budgeting systems all assume that you make a major decision once a year, that's your budget, that's your Bible, and then you live with that Bible the entire year. But what happens today? By the time the year starts, maybe we approve the budget in December, already in January that budget is irrelevant. Same applies for your personal life, for personal career. We used to choose a career, a profession. We studied and we lived in that career the entire life. Most of our parents worked in a single company and loved working in a single company. Today, we are required to reinvent ourselves more and more often, and we're simply not prepared. Our world is not built to reinvent. Our world is built to last. The problem with that is the world change. The speed of change requires us to reinvent more often than ever before. And unfortunately, this means that we need to imagine new capabilities, new skills, new processes, and we need to build our products, our careers, our companies ready to reinvent. Reinvention must become a habit. It must become embedded in the normal way of doing business, not to be once in a 40 years opportunity, but a normal part of our everyday routine when we learn to reinvent and we come up with new reinvention directions. Now, I invite you for a challenge. As always, every video finishes with a question or a challenge, and here's my challenge to you. Take this video and show it to your colleague, your friend, your team, your department, your boss, somebody you think needs a good, healthy discussion of reinvention. Talk about what does the speed of change means for you, for your company, for your team, for your product, for your department, for your career. Have a conversation practically what needs to change if you are not only to survive the speed of change, but actually thrive in this new reality. And as you have that discussion, share your comments here under this video. Discuss what was discussion like, what were your conclusions, the kind of so what. Okay, you heard this video, so what? This is the heart of the matter. This requires a change in the way we're doing. So what? What does it mean for you personally? What does it mean for your team? What does it mean in your professional environment? If you have a difficult conversation in business, share this video, have a discussion. What does that mean for your company to live in a world where the company must reinvent every 3 to 5 years? Shoot us a comment, give us a question. If you have a challenge, if new questions come up out of that discussion, post the questions. We will make sure we'll get back to your question as soon as we can. As always, sign up on Facebook, Chief Reinvention Officer. Make sure you stay updated with our emails updates. That's chiefreinventionofficer.com. We are on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Shoot us a message, shoot us a question, and we'll do our best to come back to you. Thank you so much, and until then, see you soon.